Alrighty, I'm Isaac.
I'm Cole.
I'm O'Brien.
And this is the Criterion Coffee Club. We're three coffee addicts that just enjoy watching, making, and teaching about movies. We may not be regarded as leading experts, but we use our shared knowledge and experiences to help us dissect the world of cinema. So, grab your favorite cup of coffee and sit back and relax. And, apologies people, I know our episodes have been a little bit erratic last couple months, but I promise you we've been trying. We have been trying. Anyway, great. I'm blanking. I'm so out of practice. What do we do? Coffee. Caffeine.
Coffee, movies.
Coffee, movies, coffee facts.
What's our club? What's our podcast about again? Oh God, I'm rusty. I there's nothing new to report on my end of coffee. I had black filtered coffee, as I always do, and it's like I've been cycling through like, I don't know, 9 bags of beans. I've just been sitting on my thing. I've been trying to drink through it like crazy, but it's just so much.
I'm pretty much out of not doing hot coffee right now. It's like so hot in Texas.
Yeah, it's miserable.
I'm really on cold brew and matcha has been the two.
Interesting. I never took you for a matcha guy.
I've been making like matcha lemonades or matcha limeades.
Interesting.
That's like, yeah, it's a random thing I ended up ordering at Dunkin' one time because I saw it. And then I had it. I was like, "This is actually really good. I bet I can make this better at home." And I could, and it's
right.
It's a good time.
It'd be even better with my lemonade.
I actually was thinking that like, if I had some of your lemonade, it'd be really easy to make a good matcha lemonade with it.
Yeah, I'm working on the banana syrup. The other
That's
bananas
awesome.
were super small anyway, so like the peels wouldn't have made enough, but we got some new bananas, so we got to eat through the bananas in order before we can make the banana syrup, but it's getting there. I think we're 3 peels in.
Yeah.
Cole? Or Brian? Oh man, I am rusty.
I am. It's a little late tonight, but and for some reason I made half calf because I should. So I'm having 2 cups to make sure I've got enough calf of 1 cup. And I'm drinking that really good decaf coffee, DEKAF, I guess. Yeah. Just the one it's good stuff. And then I mixed that with some Pete's for the, and I just like that. Pete's coffee is really good. And so that's what I'm having. And I'll never not drink hot coffee. I don't care if, if I'm burning in hell.
What I say about your drink, because I make half calf espresso drinks all the time at work. I say all the time. It's probably as common as the decaf, which is not very common. But I always think back to Ron Swanson in Parks and Rec when he tells Leslie Knope, "Never half-ass 2 things. Whole ass 1 thing." That's how I feel about half calf. Half calf drinks. It's you go all in on one. You don't half it.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on the hot coffee thing because I used to make, when I started getting into coffee, it was Texas heat that I started getting into it. So I started with making. I started the normal way of making my own hot coffee and stuff, like pour over ways. And then I was like, okay, it's getting way too hot for this. Cold brew. And then iced pour over stuff and then like other cold drinks. But now I've gotten so accustomed to drinking hot black filtered coffee that like it feels weird anytime I cool it. like it feels like it doesn't feel right to me, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, I just got to remake this and then make it hot because I can't drink this anymore. So it's got to be like, I think yesterday I could have done for a cold drink because like I got no progress done. I came home and it was like 2 p.m. and it was just boiling in my apartment, and I just like had no energy. Just yeah, for those of you, for you Norwegians that still are listening to our podcast, you have no idea how miserable it is in Southeast Texas weather. It's just awful.
Yeah.
It makes everything unenjoyable. Everything.
The mosquitoes enjoy it.
They definitely do.
Oh yeah. We have all sorts of like flying critters outside of our apartment right now, like moths that are going to the lamps. There's crickets too. There's a cricket that got into our apartment. The weather's been crazy because all these bugs have been flying around. It's like swamp bugs. I'm like, well, I really wish them away. I almost swallowed one on my way in like 5 minutes ago.
Did y'all save the cricket?
Yeah, I didn't kill it. I knew my cats would. I knew my cats would, so I like. It was kind of a comical sight of me going around the living room trying to catch it because it would jump from the couch to the chair. And I was just trying to like catch the damn thing. I was like, I'm trying to free you from your shackles.
Yeah. At the beginning of the semester, I would in the communication building. They'd come in the building, and you knew you had to get them out. So you get a piece of paper and try and make it all the way to the exit with that cricket on the paper. Yeah, because you just can't kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, who wants to go first with our fun little questions?
Well, I can we've been talking coffee, so I can transition to the coffee fact.
You told us.
I learned to say it again, Isaac.
No, I was just leading it into you.
You got it. This is a drink I should know. I did not. My oldest son, McGarity, loves coffee and knows where to go in Austin. We met up in Houston recently, and he had a cortada, and I'd never had a simple cortada before, but they're so good. And some baristas know how to make them, and some don't.
Yep.
And he said, if they look at you funny and you're asking for a cortada, then just tell them it's a cappuccino with half the steamed milk. So, and I can tell this is bare bones, basic knowledge.
That's
great.
No, that's a good one because I get questions about that, or people are always confused by that, and it's fully because of Starbucks. Like Starbucks is the reason because their cortados are not everybody else's cortados. It's because, like, cortado means half, like, in Italian, I think. I found that one out relatively recently from a coworker. I overheard another coworker tell another coworker, or a new coworker at the time, that, so they remembered. But, so it's, like, equal espresso, like, you have that much espresso, and then equal milk, and then you make that big of a drink-ish, roughly. Right. But that's not the way Starbucks makes it. I don't know how they make it. I saw somebody rant about it that works at a Starbucks, like on a Reddit forum somewhere, and it was like a completely different ratio. And they were like, "This is not what a cortado is." And then that's where I picked up on the idea because somebody else in there was like, Starbucks does stuff like that intentionally, where they make a drink and then call it a different drink's name. Like a caramel macchiato is actually not a drink that really exists, but Starbucks made it exist, at least in that factor. And it's so when people go to a coffee shop that isn't Starbucks, ask for it, and then they don't get what they want, then they go, well, you didn't make that right, and then they go back to Starbucks, so it keeps people in their ecosystems. It's kind of a little bit unethical. I actually had that happen with a cortado one time because somebody asked for double shot espresso with like a little bit of milk, and our system happened to have cortado listed on there, and so I clicked on that because that's what they were asking for, and then they got mad at me. I was like, you said a little bit. They were like, I just want a little bit of milk. And I was like, I mean, I kind of have to charge for milk because it's expensive. And then I took off the milk, and then they got mad at me for it just being double shot, and then complained about the prices or something like that, and then compared us to Starbucks, or the prices of Starbucks to our prices. And I just, like, it was like, I'm sorry, but I just started here, and my boss literally told me to do this exact thing. So you're not the only one, O'Brien. And then of course, baristas oftentimes get confused themselves, because I've seen new baristas, and usually new baristas or baristas that don't know anything about coffee at all. Like, it trips them up too, for the same reasons that you got tripped up on that. But
it's good. I really like that. It's a nice stout. Yeah, wake you up.
Yeah. Another one that trips people up all the time that I see is the cafe au lait, which is like a latte, but instead of using espresso, you just use normal drip coffee. So it's just like drip coffee and then the steamed milk. Yeah. And then sometimes, because a lot of coffee shops don't have that listed on their menu, but they can definitely make it because they have drip coffee and they have milk that they can steam. So, like, I'll see all the time, like, a barista that's never heard it referred to that way. Like, oh, can I get a cafe au lait? And they'll be like, ah. And then I'll just lean over and be like, yeah, you could just ask them what size they want it. I was like, it's just drip coffee with, like, steamed milk. That's all it is. Put it like that, and I'll know what they're talking about. It's also spelled in a French way, so a lot of people don't realize it's Olay.
Oh no, it's French.
Yeah, because it's AU space LAIT. So I've seen people type up on the thing Olay, like OLE, like the Spanish Olay.
Yeah.
And then I'll go over to them. I'll be like, hey, it's French. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, you spelled that so wrong. It's pronounced that way, but it's not spelled that way. That's always funny to me.
Totally, but it fits where we're from. That's.
I mean, yeah, that's another thing. Is like we hear more Spanish than French. But also, God, that was a horrible segue. Anyway, my movie fact. I found this one out, and it has to do with Disney, a Disney movie. Dick Tracy. Did you guys know Disney made a Dick Tracy movie in the 90s? I feel like O'Brien would know.
Yeah, that's right. Because it came after it came after Batman.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it flopped horribly in the box office because of Batman. But I have not seen the movie at all, and honestly, I was watching this video about how they made it look that way, and I really want to watch it now. Because they made it old school for the 90s, by the way. Like, they shot it in the 90s, and they made it the old school way because the director wanted it to feel like a comic book come to life. And the original comic book, the way the inks, like the ink presses worked back then, they only did like 4 colors in the Dick Tracy comics. So his bright yellow suit was one of them. Green was a very vibrant color, and so was red. Red was also a very, very vibrant color in the Dick Tracy comics, and this is long before LED technology too, right? So they used color theory and color science to actually simulate the way the comic book pages were brought to life by having, first of all, very exaggerated set pieces and art direction going on, and then all the scenery was like watercolors too, but they used gels on the tungsten lights and HMIs and stuff like that to mix and match to create other colors. So instead of throwing a blue gel in front of the HMI light, they would actually mix together other gels to create the colors on the set, so it would appear a certain way on the film negative. So when they would go to the color time, that it would all really pop out and become like these bright, vivid scenes. And also, I didn't realize how many celebrities were in that movie, because they're completely masked and like all sorts of crazy makeup that like changes their faces and stuff. That's really cool. But because of that, they could only do so much with the lighting, so the lighting had to be unmoving. Like they couldn't, like if they needed to hit a wall to turn it to a specific color, they couldn't move the light at all, which meant that they couldn't move the camera at all, because they had to stick a bunch of lights together. So like the entire movie is almost completely static images, but
like a comic book.
Yeah, like a comic book. Like it was literally cut together like a comic book, like static image, and then they would just blast the scene with all these different lights, with gels thrown on, going, oh, if a film negative captures, the secondaries, cyan, yellow, and magenta together, in order to create these colors, we need to throw these gels in, and then that mixes with the negative. The DP for this movie was like a genius, basically, because he knew it. He knew exactly how the director knew exactly what he wanted, because he was a huge Dick Tracy guy, and he found a DP that was essentially a genius that knew exactly what he needed from every step of the process in order to create this. I'll definitely send you guys the link to the video I watched, because it was very interesting. And I had never also seen Dick Tracy, so I never saw any of the visuals. So it looked really good. It looked wacky, of course, but like in a good way. In the comic book way.
Right. A little campy.
Yeah, a little campy.
Yeah. It's got Dustin Hoffman in it.
Yeah.
Madonna.
Oh, yeah.
Warren Beatty. Charles Durning.
Yeah, Warren Beatty was the director.
Whoa, Warren Beatty was produced, directed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he planned on there being a sequel, but because it flopped, Disney told him no. They didn't make enough money to warrant a sequel, pretty much because Batman took all the audiences away. And especially since that was, you go to Batman and then you get whiplash from Dick Tracy, basically. I mean, but
and
Warren
Dick Tracy
Beatty
could have been the better film. I'm not,
And Warren Beatty is the person that holds the rights to Dick Tracy, and he has like an iron grip on them, to the point that nobody else will ever make a Dick Tracy movie unless he passes away. So we're never getting another Dick Tracy movie, essentially.
He must be a huge fan.
Oh,
That's
yeah. Big fan.
Vittorio Storaro did that. He was the cinematographer.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Great cinematographer. Wow. He did Apocalypse Now.
Oh, yeah, that explains it.
And The Last Emperor.
Oh, that's an amazing movie. I thought the cinematography was like one of my favorite things about that too.
God, so what an incredible, of course, Ishtar. That's not famous. That was
like the Babylonian goddess.
That's
where I recognize the name. Here's my myth nerdiness coming out. As Cole
Don't get him started on myths, dude.
As Cole foretold in the ancient episodes. Hey, look at that. It comes a year round. And one of the first episodes, Cole made mention of that about me. And here we are a year later talking about it again.
You're like a myth encyclopedia, dude.
I'm not that good. I say after I pointed out Ishtar was a Mesopotamian goddess. Anyway, Cole, your question?
Okay, yeah. If there's like a classic Hollywood star that you could have dinner with, who would it be?
Oh, this is like your director question.
Yeah, I was thinking about this because I was watching the one I watched had Paul Newman in it, and I saw like I was just thinking like Paul Newman and Marlon Brando and James Dean and like Robert Redford, shout out, all these
man,
like classic
yeah.
movie stars. Like, but who's the one that like if you could have dinner with Orson Welles?
Ooh,
Like,
wow.
whose mind are you wanting to pick?
I got two,
Okay.
but I'll let you guys go first because mine are a little bit out there.
I'll go with Charles Lawton, who was a great stage actor,
Oh.
directed and movie actor, directed Night of the Hunter. Is the only film he ever got a chance. I just love that film. And you said it. I'm gonna go with two. Orson Welles would be incredible. That'd be wow. That'd be nuts.
Yeah, I think Orson Welles would be pretty high on my list. I think Marlon Brando also, just because everything I've heard about it. I just want to know.
Like
I want to know what's true.
the cheeseburger thing.
I've just heard so many different stories about Marlon Brando's behavior, and I think
I want to know if the cheeseburger thing was a real. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What are you talking about?
So, what was it Apocalypse Now? Francis Ford Coppola.
Right.
Yeah. So Marlon Brando, I heard about this recently because apparently in the Mega documentary, Francis Ford Coppola says Shia LaBeouf is the hardest actor he's ever worked with, or the most difficult actor he's ever worked with, mind you. And somebody pointed out in like a comment section that this man worked with Marlon Brando on two or three separate occasions.
Right.
And in Apocalypse Now, the example they gave was Francis Ford Coppola told Marlon to lose weight because he had gotten fat by that time, right? And so he banned Francis from eating any cheeseburgers on set. And Marlon, as a giant fuck you to Francis, would get a PA to... Because, mind you, they shot this in the jungle. If you're not clear where they shot Apocalypse Now, it was in the jungle.
Yeah.
He got a PA to boat across to go to like the nearest fast food burger joint or whatever, like McDonald's or something, and load his boat up with a bunch of cheeseburgers for the PA to boat all the way back to where they were shooting. And then Marlon would hide the cheeseburgers around the set and then make sure to eat them while he was staring Francis dead in the face. He'd be in the middle of the take and just like start munching down on the burger, making sure Francis Ford Coppola could see him. And I want to know how true that was. Just because the idea of like this poor little PA that's probably 19, just got out of high school, is like, I'm gonna work on Francis Ford Coppola's, and he's just boating over a little rowboat filled with cheeseburgers. Oh man, I need to know what's true though, and also why you kept saying Krypton, and like, did he know and not care? Or was everybody too afraid to say anything about him saying Krypton? Oh, okay. But for mine, I'm actually going to go with Rod Serling.
Ooh,
and I was
perfect for tonight.
It was perfect for tonight. I was actually thinking about like, man, I would love to have a conversation with Rod Serling. I don't even remember. At one point today, I had that thought, and then watched the movie and went, "Oh yeah, that's right. Rod Serling wrote this."
God, yeah.
So now it's come full circle. Now that Cole asked that question, and the other one is Mel Blanc, the voice actor. That's why I said it was a little bit out there, because it's not like Hollywood, but he was. I mean, he was pretty much the entire cast of the Looney Tunes.
Right.
Aside from Porky Pig, who did the original voice actor for Porky did have a stutter, but that was costing the studio so much money because he would literally stutter for so long that it would the recording times would go hours over because of how bad his stutter was. So they ended up having to get Mel Blanc to do all the Porky Pig dialogue. So he ended up becoming all the Looney Tunes characters. And he was, if you've ever heard the Tom and Jerry scream, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah! That's Mel Blanc.
Wow.
Because I know with Mel, they didn't record him in a sound booth like every other actor and voice actor that has ever been around, because he would scream so loud that they had to put him in a sound stage and then have a microphone dangle from the ceiling with him in the middle of the sound stage, because otherwise he would scream so loud that he would reverberate off the walls back into the mic and create a feedback loop.
How many characters did he obviously
he did.
Characters.
Oh, when I said all the Looney Tunes, I mean he was Bugs, Daffy, Elmer, Porky, Foghorn, Sylvester, Pepe Le Pew. Like pretty
they
much
all sound so different. That is phenomenal.
Yeah. He's considered like the original voice actor basically, because he did so many different voices. And there's the one scene, like the original Duck Season, Rabbit Season, where it's like Elmer Fudd, you know, he's like, oh, you gotta be very, very quiet. It's Rabbit Season. And then Bugs is dressed like a Daffy and is talking like he's Daffy. Or no, he shows up, he sees Daffy dressed like Bugs, putting posters around that says it's actually Duck Season, right? And then Bugs shows up dressed like Daffy, and then at one point, it's just the man talking in character as Elmer to Daffy, played by the same man, who's acting in character as Bugs, talking to another character that's acting in character as another character. So he's like 4 characters deep, or 5 characters deep in the scene, and he did it all in like one take. And it's like one that a lot of voice actors talk about, like being one of the best scenes they've
one of the best one in one take. Just good. What's that in again? Where they had the the one take?
It was one of the Looney Tunes episodes, like one of the earliest.
It's one episode, but
Duck Season, Rabbit Season, Duck Season, Season, Rabbit Season, Duck Season. It's Duck Season. And he did that whole back and forth in one take. Like, they didn't do, okay, you're going to record all the Bugs lines, then you're going to record all the Daffy lines. No, he did all 3 characters at one time.
God.
And he would very often do that. A lot of them would, but Mel would play like 12 characters, so.
What's the film noir Looney Tunes movie from the 90s? Is it with Bob Hoskins?
Yeah, with Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Right. Who Framed?
Yeah.
Is there a Mel Blanc character in that film? I just wonder if there's a tribute to him.
I think Mel passed away by that point. So
gotcha.
No Mel Blanc, but a lot of the like non-Disney characters were characters that at some point were voiced by Mel.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just wondering if because all the cartoons are alive, but so they're not being voiced by anybody. But such a part of the process. It's just, it's awesome.
He was a few Disney characters, but I can't remember. Yeah, the Man of the Thousand Voices. As it's listed on his his IMDb. I can't remember exactly which Disney characters he was at some point. Oh yeah, he was in the Jetsons, of course. And the Flintstones. He was in a lot of those old shows. Yeah, he was Barney Rubble. That's right.
Wow. That's so much. That's incredible. And they sound all unique.
Yep.
They really don't sound like one guy.
Yeah, I just think having a dinner with him would have been really fun.
That'd be phenomenal. Yeah.
Well, Since
That's
we
a
brought
great
up
question.
Oh yeah, good job, Cole. That being said, if you say next, like 2 weekends from now or whenever it's your turn, and you go, which sound mixer would you have dinner with? I'm making you ask another question. You've gone too far by that point. It's a good question, but at some point you've asked it too many times. You're too many crew members deep.
I feel like at some point when it's relevant, I can ask it about DPs.
Yeah, maybe not soon.
Yeah, not soon. Not soon.
Too recent a memory. However, if you do start bringing in sound mixers, I'm going to your house and slashing tires.
You gotta call me out on that one.
I'll be like, all right, bud. All right. All right. With that being said, we brought up Rod Serling earlier. Easy enough segue. So, for those of you that don't remember from last episode, we got the Golden Age of Television, which is a big ask to watch everything on here. So maybe at some point, if we roll the spinner wheel again, we'll just pick other movies or whatever episodes, whatever you want to call them, that are on here, and then that way it's a little bit more fair. But I, for one, watched, or somewhat watched, Requiem for a Heavyweight. I'll explain why I said that in a second. Which is about a punch-drunk prize fighter who is forced to face life outside of the ring, and it's written by Rod Serling. Remind me again what you two got to watch.
I watched The Comedian with Mickey Rooney and directed by John Frankenheimer.
Oh.
Bang the Drum Slowly was the one that I watched. That one starred Paul Newman.
Wow.
And it was like very young Paul Newman. And it was a baseball play.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was,
So
baseball.
So I gotta tell you something, O'Brien. I kind of already told Cole because he swung by my house earlier, as I had I think I was 15 minutes deep into the Heavyweight movie, and I kind of cheated a little bit, but I had no other option. I found out 15-20 minutes into the movie Requiem for a Heavyweight that what I was watching was not the episode of a TV show. It was, as I've been calling it, a movie. The original Requiem for a Heavyweight was an episode of the TV show Playhouse 90, and that episode you cannot find anywhere online. And the only place I found it was Internet Archive, somewhat. Internet Archive had a bunch of episodes of Playhouse 90. And this is kind of felt like a little Twilight Zone-y, Playhouse 90 did, because every episode was a different story, and many of them were written by Rod Serling, so there always was a lesson to be learned, just like Twilight Zone, although far less sci-fi and more realistic. And they were live taped recordings, so the audience would actually watch them live tape the scene, and then that was a thing that was broadcasted on television. So very Saturday Night Live-y, only fully scripted and not, skits.
They're performing plays on a
a literal screenplay. It was a literal screenplay. And I was like, wow, should I even finish this movie? I know it was kind of written by Rod Serling, but how much carried over? Because 10 years later, they adapted that episode to a movie with Mickey Rooney. And Jackie Gleason, who played the main character.
And that must have been somewhat popular for some of these, because the one I watched, Bang the Drum Slowly, I found out got adapted about 10, 15 years later.
Wow.
into a movie. It must have been like 15, 20 years later, to a movie starring Robert De Niro
Wow.
in the Paul Newman spot.
Yeah, because for the Requiem movie, it was like the original episode aired in 52 and the movie came out at 62.
Right.
Yeah,
But
I think it would have been like 20 years would have
Yeah.
been the difference in this one.
yeah, but I ended up just watching the whole thing anyway because not only was the script written by Rod Serling,
Yeah. So that's going
because
to
it was
be.
just,
Yeah.
but the director was the exact same director as the live taping.
Oh wow.
It was interesting.
So I was like, oh, so this is basically just this, but with a budget.
Right.
And I looked
right.
it up, and sure enough, that's basically what it was. Like I was reading a review where someone had done a double feature of both versions of Heavyweight, and they talked about like it was a super solid taking, and only one line was flubbed that you could tell, but other than that, like if there was flipped lines, you didn't know. And then and then when they were talking about the movie version, they said it opens up obviously more cinematic than the previous thing. I was like, oh. So they had a budget and just made the same thing. But it's fine. It was an excellent movie.
They did that with Judgment at Nuremberg, famous. I think this came out first on Playhouse 90, and then they made that into
Wow.
a film.
Yeah, so Heavyweight was the second episode of Playhouse 90.
Yeah.
And it was the first single episode to win an Emmy. Every other Emmy given out by that point was for the whole TV show. But this was the first time a single episode from a TV show has been given an Emmy. And it was for, like, best screenplay.
Wow. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, sounds like a great show.
Yeah, and I think that's why Criterion put it in here. I think
Right.
the Emmy aspect of it is a big reason
Enough.
why they put it in here.
Yeah.
And I mean, just from looking at the other shows that were on here, I think another reason why they added it is because good old Rod Serling wrote the script for it.
Yeah.
He wrote the script for half of these.
If you look at all of them, it looks like there's a Rod Serling attachment, or there's a Paul Newman or a
Mickey Rooney.
Andy Griffith. Like there's like a performance from a Hollywood, or someone who goes on to establish themselves as a real Hollywood staple.
Yeah, for real.
Right.
Yeah. But for Requiem, it was interesting because it was Rocky.
Oh,
It was the precursor. Well, it wasn't the exact same.
It was
story,
Rocky.
but it was the precursor for Rocky. Like the whole time I'm watching it, Jackie Gleason puts on a voice. Look, trying to understand what Jackie Gleason is saying the entire hour and a half this movie's going on is like it's like going into an engineer like finals and you've never done a lick of math in your entire life. Like it's honestly egregious at times. There was a point Alyssa was like reading her book next to me and she was like, it's like kind of like driving me up the wall how he's talking. I was like, yeah, you're not the one trying to listen to what he's saying though. Because I remember he was like, there's only one music that I like, and it's I was like, I have no idea what he's saying right now. And he goes on about a story about him in the ring with this. He's telling this girl about him in the ring, and I only know it's about boxing because he's making the motions of his like fist up by his face and like the punching motions. And the whole time, I had no idea what he was saying. But other than that, I thought it was an amazing performance from Jackie Gleason. But
he's perfect for the part. Yeah,
yeah.
But
I
I
mean,
can. That's funny. And having trouble. God.
So he plays a character named Mountain Rivera, and he is a boxer, and it opens up, and I thought it was really cool because it kind of blew me away because it was first person, and it was handheld. Two things that are not being done in 62.
No.
Oh,
And your first person view of Jackie Gleason the Mountain in the ring with the guy, and they're battling for the heavyweight champion. Like, he was almost heavyweight champion, and that kind of comes through a lot. And he finally he finally ends up losing after going 7 rounds. And then there's like 6 minutes of him, just like this very long take of you're watching this whole thing play out of him in the ring, and then like the winner is announced, and he's like stumbling his way through the crowd, and then he sees himself in the mirror. And then this was also pretty impressive because you couldn't see the camera in the mirror, but he's looking at himself in the mirror, and he sees how badly beaten up his face is. And the doc after this portion tells him, if you keep fighting, you will have permanent injury and you will go blind.
Wow.
With how badly he's beaten up. So he ends up trying to take a crack at going to the job recruiter, looking for work, try to get work, because all he's ever known for 17 years is fighting. He only had a 6th grade education. Oh, 6th grade education. You know, he's kind of talking like a little bit like Rocky. I'm going to be honest
like
with
Rocky.
you.
Yeah.
Because Sly put on the same voice, only he was a little bit more intelligible.
If he's less intelligible than Sly with Rocky, that's crazy.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's just like absolutely impossible in some of those scenes. I just had to pick up from everybody else in the scene what he was talking about.
Context clues.
Or what he was doing, like in this bar scene where he's telling the story about what he threw a punch, and I'm like, brother, I need you to like enunciate a little bit more. But he's trying to get a job, and obviously it's something that's very difficult for him to do. And it's just real bleak. Here's where the Rod Serling aspect of it all comes in, because you're like, man, this is kind of bleak. Like, you see this guy struggling to find a job despite like being almost being the heavyweight champion of the world, and he's struggling to find any work at all. And then his manager comes into the play, and him and his coach were drinking, and they're like, I don't know what we're gonna do. We're kind of screwed now that the Mountain lost. The Mountain's finally lost a match after 111 matches. He's finally lost, and we can't make money off of that. And so the manager ends up going to a guy that organizes wrestling. And of course, wrestling is fake in this, as it's made very clear that this is like the fake kind of wrestling too, complete with the costumes that are exploitive and all that. And he says that he's going to get he's going to turn the Mountain into a wrestler, but as a wrestler, he's going to lose a couple matches, and the Mountain's very prideful of this. Because he's never lost other than like losing the heavyweight championship. But the whole thing he keeps saying is, I was almost heavyweight champion of the world. Yeah, he put up a good fight, but I was almost heavyweight champion, because that's a very difficult feat. And the manager ends up actually getting the Mountain drunk, so he misses his interview for an actual job he was getting, and he ends up shamingly donning the Indian costuming, and by the end of it is like prancing around the ring, doing the yell. Oh, man. It's very sad. Like, it does not end on a happy note. Because he could have just walked out of it, but if he walked out of it, his manager would have been killed. And while he hates his manager now, he didn't want to see the guy being taken out back to the alley and then be shot.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was like, man,
that's
Rod Serling really did write this.
Do you think that first person, filming in the ring, first person, I wonder if, because I'm just thinking, and we'll talk about when we get to the comedian, that these like I said, earlier, the cameras are kind of like they're so heavy. Live TV cameras, like a refrigerator on wheels. Do you think they use? Sometimes I know the British would use filmed inserts. They would film on film, like 16 millimeter or 35, certain segments, especially when they go outside, and then in their live presentation of basically, it's kind of like a soap opera, or I'm thinking of something people can relate to now would be like the big, well, what's the what am I, the Big Bang, like a sitcom, where it's like a live sitcom, 3 cameras. But these were so much more work, so much more adventuresome. But in the middle of the live, so it'd be like you're filming the Big Bang with your multi-camera, but then you'd have a part that was filmed when you go outside the studio. Do you think that was the way they did that, the part in the ring?
Maybe.
Or did that feel like it was just live TV?
I feel like, I mean, what I watched wasn't the live TV, but I feel like if they did do the live TV, they probably didn't do the film insert because I don't know.
They just stayed with the live TV.
Yeah, they probably just stayed with the live TV, if I were to guess, because it's kind of important that you watch in full the aspect of him losing, because one thing that he mentions is that even though he's lost, he's never gone down. He's never gone down in the ring. So it's very important that you see him go down and you see the ref count him down to 10. And I feel like the impact wouldn't be there as much as just watching the full like first person view, because that was also something that the review, God, my camera keeps going out of focus. That was something that the reviewer that I was saying that I said I read was saying in their paragraph. Like the first sentence talked about how the opening was like this cinematic masterpiece, and because it really was, like, it really just grabs your attention like immediately. The whole movie was great, but there was something about that first like 12 minutes of you watching the Mountain like lose a fight and then get told by the doctor that he should not be fighting anymore or he will receive some serious permanent damage. Mostly he will go blind if he continues fighting. And then it kind of comes back around because at the end of the movie, it's first person again. Like there's a first person shot as he's walking out to the wrestling ring, and all the audience people are shouting and trying to get him to do the Indian yell, like the whole time, and they're like, yeah, they're really trying. They're kind of treating him like a circus monkey, and that's kind of how you're feeling because you're watching it from his perspective. And then it does this really cool cut where it cuts in on his eyes like this close, and you can tell that was not something to be done too much in 62 because it was out of focus. And lenses just couldn't focus that close, I guess, is the best way of putting that. But and then it cuts back to like just seeing the whole arena just kind of treat him like this circus monkey that they want to dance around and exploit Native Americans. Pretty progressive for its time, to be honest.
Right.
But that's kind of what led me back to my thought of, man, I want to talk to Rod Serling. I want to see what his opinions are like. Just like chat with the guy, tell him about what's going on in the future. What would he say?
Cole, did Rod Serling write the one you did?
I don't believe so, but
you got Paul Newman though. That's huge.
Well, let me check. It definitely has kind of like the moral, I don't know, kind of conundrum that is, I think, very Rod Serling-esque.
Right. Type of feel. Yeah, I think he had an impact on the entire series. They used different writers, different producers. It was great money. I mean, a writer could get $7,500 for an episode. Directors got $10,000, and that was really a lot of money back in the 50s.
Wait, you said $7,500 for an episode?
Yeah.
Wow.
For the 50s. Wow.
That's
like more than what we pay them now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look at a
crazy.
standard wage earner, like American mom or pop, mainly dads back then, bringing home, with jobs, full-time jobs. A typical full-time job was like $3,000 a year, which would be equal to maybe $50,000-$60,000 a year now. So you're looking at more than double that for writing an episode, and they were given a lot of time to work on. They were given weeks to work with the actors. Instead, usually episodic TV, everything's got to be done in 1 week. Like if you're directing an episode of the X-Files, you'll have 1 week to work with the actors. 1 week they'll get the whole thing done, and the whole budget, like for the X-Files, for an episode probably was maybe $500,000, maybe a little bit more. But so they had more time to work with the actors. Is amazing. Of course, everything's got to work out in real time, so that it's like a play. Everything's got to be hit their marks, because they are switching this thing live. It's
So real quick, I looked it up because I was curious.
Yeah.
On an inflation calculator of $7,500.
Right.
So you said $7,500 an episode, right? Just
Right,
for one
that's right.
episode.
One episode.
That, in today's money, is roughly $125,000.
Yeah.
That's so, I mean, it's like just a huge salary.
Yeah,
And
for
this
an
is-
episode. Rod Serling did multiple episodes.
And nowadays, where it's funny, you're thinking of when I used to watch Star Trek back in the 1960s, or Lost in Space. There was 54 minutes, or I think maybe 52 minutes of episode time and 8 minutes of commercials. And now an hour show, I think, is basically 40 minutes of content and 20 minutes for like a typical, like something like Hawaii 5-0 or at any one of the NCIS shows, that's 40-20. But back then, you're thinking of the 50s, not many commercials. They stuffed commercials into these things because they were so expensive. They were, and think about how long the episodes we watched. When you watch them, it'd be 90 minutes long, Playhouse 90. But in terms of content, you probably noticed, well, this is only like an hour long. That's because they had a half hour worth of commercials to pay everybody.
Yeah, I see. It kind of pains me sometimes because I see, like, people online say something about, like, I thought these episodes were an hour long. It would be like some sitcom that was on TV, like Scrubs. I'll only mention Scrubs because that one's good. Not that other garbage. But they'll say something like, this was only 45 minutes long or something like that. It's like, I don't think you realize that there was like 15 minutes per episode that was just dedicated to ads.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or like, stuff that would be 30 minutes long, always like 22 minutes in reality.
That's right.
Yeah.
And only
15
in this case, the ratio was even more skewed for the ads. And they would tell the writers, how like Cole watching Star Trek, your classic, you the first act, second act, and we always zoom in to Kirk, and because there were so many ads, they'd tell the writers, no, it's not a 3-act structure. This is a 6-act thing, or maybe even,
I noticed
so many ads.
I noticed in the one that I was watching, Paul Newman's, there was a certain structure to this, and I'm curious, O'Brien, if the one you're watching was similar.
Right.
One, it reminded me a lot of a Thornton Wilder play, where there was occasionally these moments where you would have like the protagonist, or Thornton Wilder is always the stage manager typically, but Paul Newman's character would occasionally start talking directly to the audience, and it's because there were like time skips that would happen as like things progressed, and he would narrate some of it, and I could tell where the ad breaks were.
Right.
Because there'd be like a fade to black, and then a spotlight would pop up on Paul Newman, and then he'd be like addressing the audience.
That's
And he'd be like, it was December the same year, and start giving you the kind of like a lead in.
Yeah, so mine took place over the course of I think a few days.
Yeah. Not mine too, maybe 2 nights.
Yeah, like he had the fight at nighttime and then went to the doctor, had the incident, and then was kind of depressed, and then a day later job recruiter, and then you kind of see a couple days later, but it kind of, I saw where I was this was adapted from a television episode, because there was a point where I was I gotta find a place to pause this real quick because I need to use the bathroom, and it was very clear where I could just end a scene, where the scene would end, and there was a very prominent part that was just a straight fade to black, and then it would fade up again. And I was I felt like that was a little unnecessary. It could have just been snapped to the other portion that's going on here. But I think that's where a little bit of that television adaptation comes into play, because it was very clear on when everything was starting and ending, starting and ending, starting and ending, starting and ending. All right, now you've moved into the final stretch. Ends in this last bit here.
And it makes the whole thing makes me, and so no, in mine they did not address the camera like that. It was pretty much, there was nothing to kind of break the narrative flow like that. But it was so intense. It was like an episode of the way I compare, I can always think of Big Bang, because which is still 15 years ago, but it is something we might have watched, that people might have watched with multi-camera, 3 cameras, live studio audience.
Yeah.
But this would be you're watching Big Bang, but you're watching the behind the scenes of Big Bang. You'll see little clips of maybe the episode, but you're also watching Sheldon interact with the director. Say Sheldon, the main actor in Big Bang, and Sheldon's an egomaniac. He's psychotic, and he's normally Sheldon, who's kind of strange anyway. But that's the way we see him act. But then behind the scenes, he's maniacal, and so Mickey Rooney played this guy. Just a comedian, huckster, funny guy. But behind the scenes, he's maniacal, and he wants the best jokes, and he forces his writer, just squeezing blood out of him to make more jokes. and it commodify. It's kind of like you mentioned, progressive. It really does feel like we're commodifying humor, and to the breaking point that they're suffering to get through this thing, to the point that Edmund O'Brien, the chief writer for this show, for the comedian's show, for Mickey Rooney's show, he ends up stealing scripts from a guy that he knew from World War II. They'd served with, and you knew it was wrong. The scripts were really funny, but he steals them, and that becomes the big driving thing, because that can destroy the show, of course, if you plagiarize, steal the scripts,
the Amy
and
Schumer
kill
of
the
it
show.
all.
Yeah. And so, but you can understand why he did it. He was so desperate and so pressed. And then Mickey Rooney's brother is played by Mel Torme, who wrote the song "Chestnuts on an Open Fire."
What?
Yeah, he's a real good musician, Mel Torme. And normally he's a happy guy. I've seen him on Christmas specials. He died in 1999, but I'd seen. And
sounds like he really liked Christmas.
Say it again.
Sounds like he really liked Christmas.
Really did. Yeah, you just assume Mel Torme, jazz guy, Christmas. And his son, Tracy Torme, actually wrote for The Next Generation, Star Trek. But in this, the brother is just, he is an absolute, he gives everything up to his older brother. He's a servant, for a complete servant. To his older brother, will not overwrite. His older brother's cruel, mean, makes fun of him. He's always the butt of the jokes. He's the butt of the jokes so much that his wife is leaving him because he has no dignity left. And so the end is rough. It's just like you were saying.
The Rod Serling of it all.
Yeah,
it's not a happy ending.
No, oh God. Yeah,
mine also ends in a pretty somber place. It's
sure it wasn't written by Rod Serling.
It wasn't, but it definitely. Mine was in season 4 of Playhouse 90. So definitely the tone had already been pretty well established for what these are supposed to be. I mean, it's about Paul Newman is like a star baseball player. He's like a pitcher. It starts off, it's like the end of the year. They're obviously supposed to be like the Yankees equivalent. And he, anyway, it's like his friend, his roomie, his like friend is the catcher, but he's like not nearly that good. He's like the last guy to make the team essentially. And, you know, if there's any like fresh blood or anything, he'll end up getting cut. And then like it kind of, you know, there's some time that shows it's like off season. Paul Newman's character's like trying to hold out in his contract. And then he finds out that his friend who's the catcher is dying and has like a terminal illness, and he doesn't want him to tell anyone else about it. Because if they find out about him, they'll trade him or like cut his contract. Like they don't want. It's like not
right because he's sad.
You can't have a sick person playing a professional sport. Is like the whole thing. Or they're like, they find out that I'm sick, they're gonna cut me. You know. And so like Paul Newman like pressures them and is like, I'll sign a new deal that's like team friendly, but you have to promise me that so and so. Like, if you trade him, you trade me to where he goes. And, like, me and this guy are pretty much going to stick together. And they go through a baseball season, and there's, like, something about this guy, like, dealing with mortality that he actually starts playing better because he becomes more confident. Like, he doesn't have anything to lose. And so, like, he starts, for the first time of his career, starts playing well. And then people are like, what's going on? Like, there's this change in this guy, and it comes out that he's sick. And, like, the day that everyone figures it out, essentially, he dies.
Oh.
And they throw him a big party, and they're, like, pretending that they got his birthday wrong because they don't want him to know they know. And it's this really sad scene where they're, like, all pretending that they just got his birthday wrong. But, like, they all know that he's dying. They just don't want him to be, like, bummed about it. And then his teammates all, like, tell him they love him and then leave after throwing, like, this incredibly rowdy party. And he just dies, like, in Paul Newman's arms. It's incredibly sad.
Wow.
And
to think this is from a show called Playhouse.
Yeah.
All three of these. Wow, that is sad. I think yours is a little bit more on the sweet end of bittersweet.
Yeah.
Mine was not happy ending.
No.
Nobody got anything they wanted.
Yeah.
The mountain wasn't happy at the end. The coach wasn't happy at the end. The manager realized how badly he fucked up because his only two friends in the world don't love him anymore, and they feel ashamed to even have been friends with him to begin with. The girl that was trying to help the mountain didn't end up helping the mountain, and she didn't get the mountain as a lover in the end of the movie. Like, there was nothing happy about that ending at all.
Mine, yeah, the comedian with the, you know, and apparently there was, it'll come to me, the comedian they were basing it off of was a true, apparently a comedian in the 50s, not Jimmy Durante, but one of the ones with the TV show, like Jackie Gleason had his own TV show, but it's not him.
What was his name? Do you remember?
What's that?
Do you remember what his name was?
What is it's going to come to me. I gotta look. Yeah, because it's somebody you almost hate to mention because somebody I haven't heard of totally. Let me look it up. But bottom line, at the end though, Mickey Rooney, who by the way, I was going to say you're a Breakfast at Tiffany's fan, right?
Yeah, I do enjoy that movie.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Yonoshi was playing Japanese character in the 61 film. That's Mickey Rooney playing a Japanese character, by the way.
Oh, oh, that was like when I was telling somebody yesterday. I don't remember what we were talking about, but he mentioned some movie or other. I was like, oh, is it like when Alec Guinness was in Lawrence of Arabia? And he was like, Alec Guinness was in Lawrence of Arabia? I was like, yeah, I remember watching that movie for the first time in my life, and I saw in the opening credits Alec Guinness, and I was like, wow, Obi-Wan Kenobi's in this? And then the Prince of Arabia, who was wearing like a cloak, turned around, and I was like, oh my god. Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is in shoe polish right now. Complete with the accent.
And Milton Berle was the comedian that is apparently behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that name for sure.
Yeah,
I think there was a character in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel that was inspired by him.
That makes sense, because that'd be the same, around the same era.
Yeah,
Yes,
Miss
100%.
Maisel had a lot of those like comedian characters that were surreal to watch because they're based almost entirely off of a real person, but they were completely fictional. Except for Lenny Bruce, who was the only real comedian.
Oh,
that was
so cool that they had him
movie.
in there.
I know. Speaking of Lenny, his movie is in the Criterion Collection. I'll have to.
Oh, that's awesome! That's right.
That up.
That's right. I was a projectionist, a movie projectionist, when that came out in like 76 or 75.
Yep, the same year as
and
The
I knew it was
Godfather.
good. I was like,
yeah, but no one watched it because The
18.
Godfather came out that year. So it got snubbed at
got
the
overshadowed
Oscars.
a bit.
That aside, we can talk about that when we get that in our grasp. But
I hope we roll it up.
It kind of seems like there was like this through line of television is starting to feel more real.
Right.
Oh,
right?
with this
like
series?
because we're going from serials. It's like this transitional period from what I'm hearing of like we're going from these radios like serials of the original Green Hornet and Batman radio serials,
Right.
and a little bit more of like maybe something like The Honeymooners or someone who's come up on this podcast before, I Love Lucy.
Right.
Yeah,
That's the competition for these shows. Yeah,
it's exploring the concept of TV as a high art form.
of good TV. Yeah, high art.
Yeah.
How to make quality television on a weekly basis is, I think, the question they had and the question they got Rod Serling to answer for them, and then they copied his homework later. That's what it sounds like.
These things were so real. I mean, they're almost hard to watch at some point.
Yeah.
In the comedian, the camera. I mean, the acting. You can say maybe it's overacting, but it's just intense. And the camera. And to be able to shoot this thing, John Frankenheimer is dollying his TV camera that we're getting the signal from around the studio cameras that we've got to see because we're watching a show being made, and you're looking at these faces, panning, dollying around these faces. They're so intense. So did that happen with your all's films too? I meant to watch more. But these were a lot of camera movement.
There were definitely some dollies, but of course they were working in what I watched. They were working in the cinema space, so they had a little bit more room to actually block actors. And stuff.
True. They did have a pretty big studio for
dollying. There's a lot of intense.
And
there's
John
a fair amount of camera.
Why were they intense?
When Frankenheimer did this, real quick, I was just going to say he was 25, and so he'd walk through the actors with his with his hands up like this, just while they'd be rehearsing, just walk through them, and he'd kind of bother them, but that's the way he was going to shoot this thing, and I couldn't believe.
Yeah, it's there's definitely a lot of movement leading into like a very distraught looking Paul Newman.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's so intense. I think about what we watch today, the blather that is out there on, on network TV, FBI 2.
No. It's NCIS New Orleans, NCIS
CIA.
Miami.
Miami. Yeah, that was the Florida one.
none of them are this intense. They're not near as good. I mean, I think this stuff is way better than.
Yeah, absolutely.
This lays the ground for prestige TV and your Sopranos and your The Wire and
that's a brilliant point.
Spider Noirs.
Things of that nature.
Yeah.
Spider Noir.
Well, I make that joke, but I've been watching it, and I've been watching it in the black and white version because I am a sophisticated man, and like it's so fun to watch it, especially when you watch old movies because they made it like an old movie. Like they have like these very melodramatic push-ins at times. There's a lot of Dutch tilts, like old school noirs. There's a lot of Dutch tilts. Yeah, they even do something with the audio that I feel. I might be crazy on this one because I pointed out and Alyssa didn't pick up on it, so I might be the only one so there's a likely chance I'm crazy, but there's something that I feel like they're doing with their audio that's even making it sound a little bit more analog-y at times. I don't know if that's true on the colored version, but at least on the black and white, it's like there's like a little bit of grit to it that kind of gives me that. Yeah, it kind of gives me some of that old school movie feel. And then of course, like in watching the Prize Fighter movie, it reminded me of Noir, which is then reminding me about other older films too, so I guess it accomplishes its job in trying to do that. But it's nice to, I think, just go back sometime. Like sometimes in order to go forward, you must go back a little bit, because I feel like in the day and age of streaming, we have lost so much. Even with Spider-Man Noir, because they dropped, and this bothers me so much because immediately, even though it came out like 2-3 weeks ago, all the hype about it has died down because they released every episode at one time. And they do that with tons of shows now. It's like the weekly hype isn't building up television series anymore. And like, frequent mention on this podcast, James Gunn, he did that with his show Creature Commandos, where he did a weekly release of it. And he said outright, like, they did a weekly release because if they dropped it all in one, there's no telling if people actually would watch it, especially since nobody knew who those characters were in the DC world. That the best bet he felt was to do a weekly release, try to at least build word of mouth hype, and then sure enough, that show blew up enough for him to warrant a season 2. And I feel like in the Netflix and the Amazons and the Hulus that we've lost a lot of that. So sometimes going back to stuff like Playhouse 90, even though they were analog, there was something about like that weekly release of what are they going to do next? Like, what else?
What are they? And you
do?
Talk about it,
and cliffhangers.
Cliffhangers. It encourages discussion.
Yeah, it encourages discussion. It I feel like it makes releases a little bit more thoughtful. Like, what am I going to do for this season? What am I going to do for this episode? And I just feel like we've lost so much of that with streaming. But
do you know what we did get from Playhouse 90? There were
I'm
two quick things.
Probably Twilight Zone. I love Twilight Zone.
Oh, yeah. And by the time Twilight Zone was on, of course, that was shot on film, but then these would be, videotape was involved with Playhouse 90. And they started falling behind because they were so complicated to shoot. And you're thinking, can't we just do a little bit of editing? Well, the first videotape edit was ever done. And John Frankenheimer equates it to like developing the Oppenheimer and the nuclear bomb, making a video for that. And it was videotape edit with a razor blade and Scotch tape. And the very first, and then they started, this is cool. We could edit this tape together, and then we changed the world.
Imagine developing a new way for filmmakers of the future to do things, and thinking to yourself, this is like when Oppenheimer created the bomb. I am editor. Becomer of man.
I have become death itself, or whatever. The other thing that was also funny, and the really good little article,
extortionist of man. That's what it's like. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
The other thing that was the sponsors there for the judgment at Nuremberg. The American Gas Company Association sponsored the show, Natural Gas. They were so upset with judgment at Nuremberg because of Jews, 6 million Jews dying in the gas chambers. They thought people would not want, if you talk about gas chambers, they're not going to want to buy gas. Oh, honey, we got to get an electric oven because of what they did with. Yeah. And so they wanted to bleep out the word gas, or just don't refer to the word gas for concentration camp gas chambers. Use another word. And Claude Rains said, I will not. He was acting, and he said, I will not. I'm going to say gas chamber every time. And they bleeped him out. So he would say, he would go chamber.
The early bleeps. Wow.
Yeah.
Early censorship.
Unbelievable. And who would... I mean, how thin-skinned can that sponsor be to think that they're...
It's not even thin-skinned. They're just greedy.
Yeah.
And
but you're not going to want... They're scared of people talking about gas chambers. They're not going to want to buy a gas oven.
Oh, my God. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's just
crazy.
So you think, as much progressive, but then you think about, in some respects, not much has changed.
Creating the atomic bomb in the editing room was nothing compared to saying gas chambers, according to the sponsorship.
To describe what a gas chamber was. That's good God.
I mean, there's definitely things that haven't changed a whole lot in similar ways. What's an excellent example? It's coming to me. I'll get there. 90s superhero cartoons is a great example. If you ever watch Batman the Animated Series and Spider-Man the Animated Series, you'll think to yourself at some point, like, why doesn't he just punch him in the face? Well, that's because the executives had a rule that these two well-known superheroes couldn't fight people. So all their fighting moves is just grabbing people and throwing them to the other side of a room. And that's how they defeat all their villains. Especially Spidey. Batman at least had batarangs and stuff.
Right.
And like some other tricks. But like Spider-Man, every time, just threw it across the room. Or, the Teen Titans show. Yeah, DC suffered a lot of censorship over the years. The Teen Titans show, the reason why the main villain is called Slade throughout the whole show is because the network executives thought the name Deathstroke was too dark for children. And then there was a literal episode where Slade and another character died from a building crumbling on top of them because the Titans blew it up, and that was perfectly fine for television. There was a lot of episodes that were incredibly dark, but saying Deathstroke was a step too far for them.
Yeah, he can't be doing that. He's Slade.
Yeah, somehow it was more menacing. Sometimes like censorship helps out. Like in the case of Slade, like they would say Slade was such like.
Yeah, it was never Slade.
Like,
it was Slade.
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 It was Slade.
What are we gonna do without Slade?
And then there was, of course, the Teen Titans movie that had like imagery of Robin beating the crap out of that one guy in front of a billboard. Oh, but Deathstroke was too far.
The flying knees from 3 stories.
Oh, but the other Cartoon Network show that has the Grim Reaper as the main character's best friends, that's fine. Yeah, but Deathstroke's too far. That's good. I don't know. Network executives elude me.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I think one
Yeah.
of the best examples of network censorship is a creator, animation creator named Alex Hirsch, recently for, I say recently, this is like 4 years ago. He had made a compilation video of all the emails he's gotten when he did a TV show for Disney, and every episode, and because they would have to make the episode and send it off to S&P for like approval, and then they would send back an email saying, "Hey, you need to change this, you need to change that, blah 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 blah." And he just had a compilation of like essentially so many of those emails. It was like a 5-minute video too, and he was reading them all out. And it was some ridiculous stuff on there. At one point, there was a flyer, and they had said not approved. And then he got so frustrated because he was on like his third approval email for this one flyer in the background of a shot where they're walking in front of. And he finally said, "Screw this," and then on the flyer wrote, "Not approved by S&P," and then sent it in for approval, and got an email back that said, "Approved by S&P."
That's what it took.
But, and then, now we have streaming, so we don't really have censorship as much.
Yeah,
We
it's
do.
definitely different.
Well, actually, in a way we do. Sometimes we do. Like, obviously, I mentioned Amazon, which is notorious for being known as the platform that has The Boys and Invincible, two shows that do not hold back at all.
Right.
But also
Right.
it has Spider Noir. And a lot of people may think, man, why is Spider-Man Ben Reilly? Well, Marvel has a rule with Sony as part of their contract that Sony can
Wow.
use Spider-Man's characters for stuff, that Peter Parker cannot cuss or drink.
Oh. So they needed someone to do that.
So what do? They take Peter Parker's forgotten clone, Ben Reilly, and make him the main character of the TV show and play it off that he's Peter Parker as
Right.
Nick Cage.
That's so sad.
Wow. I had forgotten indeed that he had a clone.
A lot of people did. And then
Eh.
the people that were reminded were not happy with his appearance in the movie. But that's a
Right.
topic for another time. But
Wow.
What would you guys rate y'all's individual
Ah,
experiences?
I forget that's what we do. I'm rusty.
it's been
I was like, I'm just gonna keep talking until someone remembers what we do. For me, honestly, I think I got to give it a solid 10. I know that was kind of crap dogging on Jackie Gleason's like the whole movie. But he did an amazing performance. Like, he really did give it his all. Yeah, some might say a little too much, but but like I think it played well in his favor as well, because it really brought this character to life. And then Mickey Rooney did a fantastic job. Pretty much everybody did a fantastic job. But there was something about it that I was like, I can for sure see myself watching this again. This is like the first time I watched Rocky. Like, this is a solid movie I could for sure see myself watching again. I did not think that about the other Rockies. Creed 1 I did, but nothing else. And then this,
Right.
and like, I'm not really into like boxing movies or the sports balls of it all, but this was something that was like engaging from the start and engaging to the end. You feel for the characters. It sucks that they all had
God.
a miserable ending. And they
Oh.
all ended up in purgatory, basically.
yeah.
But there was some context. There was some like commentary that was made in the movie that's still relevant today regarding like veterans and people that are like prize fighters, where they just kind of get tossed to the side and they struggle getting work, and
Wow.
and things like wrestling, or at least wrestling back then, are very exploitative, though,
Right.
by using like stereotypes of midgets and short people, and Indians, Native American stereotypes
Right.
that they use throughout the end at the end, or at the very end of that movie. So yeah.
Yeah, and that was not, and that's again showing that this is bad to do, the stereotyping. The Rod Serling
Yeah.
is just incredible.
Yeah, because it's really
Yeah.
because they use it as a way to make the main character feel like he's a circus monkey. They don't say that exactly, but there was a point where the manager says to the girl that had been trying to help him, like, you got to know the type. And this scene was actually very heartbreaking, and I struggle to remember exactly what was said, but he straight up said, like, I know the type. You dress him up, you dress an ape up, and you expect it to dance for you. It's and that was a manager, one of his best friends for like 17 years, just trying to make a quick buck still.
Yeah, and the only way in the comedian was to one character, Edmund O'Brien, the chief writer, but he had to quit. And you know, you think is trying to do plagiarism was terrible. He admitted it. He got fired for it, but he quit the show too. And he was the one that had an ounce of some self-respect at the end. The brother did not. The brother's wife was going to leave with brother because he lost his self-respect. It was just, yeah, not a happy, but a great program. And I would give it a 9, easy. And I would just want to watch the next one, and then a week after we'd watch them on Sunday night, we'd all talk about it the next day.
Yeah.
And that would be incredible.
This to me feels like the precursor to Twilight Zone. I know I said that already, but it really does, because
the next day,
Yeah.
after you watched it on Sunday night, we'd get together and go, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, with the one I saw, I think I'd have to go probably like 7 beans. I thought it was good.
Sounds good. Yeah.
It was good. The performances, I think, were really, really good. Obviously, I figured Paul Newman would be good, but I thought the whole cast and the whole baseball team was really up to snuff, and that was especially because it was obviously something that they really had to strip down, you know, because they couldn't put a whole baseball stadium on this little stage, you know, and so they found different ways to do, you know, different aspects of it, and a lot of it's just like in the clubhouse and stuff. But you know, the performances really held it all together, and it was definitely really enjoyable. And I would definitely want to watch more of them.
You can find some on YouTube, and like you said, the Internet Archive.
Oh yeah, the Internet Archive had a bunch of them, just not the one I needed, and that was infuriating. They did kind of have it, and I tried watching it, but the person that uploaded this used some AI tool called de-oldify to colorize it, and it was garbage. It like kept it, because it was like, you know, old videotape broadcasts. So the reel is already flickering, so the AI doesn't recognize that, and you just keep flickering between like red, green, blue. And I was like, I can't watch this. I'm gonna have a seizure. But how do you think I'm curious. How do you guys think a movie version of the shows of the episodes you guys watch would pair? Because I feel like the movie aspect of this like helps, because I saw the TV show was only hour 13, so 7 minutes shorter than what I watched, so that's not too much, but I can't really think of any scenes that were necessary to cut out, because you get to know all the characters individually, and then, you know, obviously it having a budget to do the first person stuff in the beginning and the ends, and have like really long takes really help this movie like come to life. So I'm curious what you guys think.
There is a movie adaptation of the one that I saw.
Right.
So I am definitely curious to watch it. I'm assuming that they could just do more with the baseball drama itself.
Oh wow, Cole, your movie has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I need to check it out.
From
Robert De Niro plays
41
the
reviews.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's. I don't think they've made the comedian into a film, but that would be interesting. It would feel, because it did feel like 2 to 3 nights just completely hooked together. Comedians their head writers working all night trying to please Mickey Rooney, please his character. It almost felt like Birdman in a sense, and that kind of the Michael Keaton, that intensity. But it was completely different plot, but still the kind of intensity felt like that. But it was good as a Playhouse 90, man. And John Frankenheimer did the Manchurian Candidate. That's one of the most famous. The one from '62.
Yeah.
Not the one with Denzel.
I'm curious.
Which isn't a bad film.
Yeah.
The '62 film was just.
What was the name of the comedian in the show?
The Playhouse 90?
Yeah. Was it Jackie Brooke? The name of the episode you watched that Mickey Rooney played. What was the name of his character?
Good question. Let's see. It was Sammy Hogarth.
Oh. Never mind. I thought I found a movie that was adapted from it.
Oh my goodness.
Because there's a movie from 2017 called The Comedian.
Right.
But the only synopsis of it is a look at the life of an aging insult comic named Jack Brooke. Or Burke.
Ah.
And it's played by Robert De Niro, so I thought it would have been funny if that was the case.
If that was the adaptation, yeah.
It doesn't look like it, though. Well.
Looks different enough that, yeah.
Well, with that being said, you all ready to roll this number?
Oh my goodness.
All right, drum roll, please. Whoa. 461.
461?
Yeah, 461.
And in the Laserdisc era?
Let's see. Hobson's Choice.
Oh my goodness.
An unsung comic triumph from David Lean. Hobson's Choice stars the legendary Charles Laughton as
my dinner companion.
harem fiend Henry Hobson, the owner of a boot shop in late Victorian northern England, when his haughty, independent daughter, Maggie, played by Brenda de Banzi, decides to forge her own path romantically and professionally with none other than Henry's prize bootsmith, Will, a splendid John Mills. Father and daughter find themselves head-to-head in a fiery match of wills. Equally charming and caustic, Hobson's Choice, adapted from Harold Brighton's famous play, is filled to the brim with great performances and elegant, inventive camera work.
Cool.
This is 108 minutes, and of course, black and white. Wow.
Right. Beautiful black and white.
Wow,
Cool.
what are the odds that what are the odds that O'Brien's dinner partner was
That's nuts.
my dinner partner was a guy that we kept talking about for the rest of the episode, and then O'Brien's is the one that ended it. Step up your game, Cole.
I don't know.
We had
Very cool.
Who were the dinner partners again? Isaac, you had
Rod Serling.
Oh
Mel
God!
Blanc.
Yeah. Mel Blanc. Oh, whoa!
I just want to
Cole,
pick
you
Rod
had,
Serling's brain.
Who'd you have, Cole?
Orson Welles was my...
Oh yeah, that's right. I just copied Orson Welles.
Yeah, you need to step up your game, Cole. You're picking Orson Welles, that guy from the Transformers movie. The magician from Safe Place. Come on.
Yeah.
What did he do? Nothing. Also, it looks like this is on the Criterion Channel, so easy way to watch it. Unlike my damn episode.
Yeah, it also looks like it's maybe on Max as well. So.
Yeah, it also might be on Prime.
So should be available.
Yeah.
I have the DVD.
Wait, do you really?
I do. I bought it at a half price sale years ago.
That's
Have
awesome.
you watched it?
I have. It is awesome. It's fantastic.
Sweet. All right.
Well, look forward to it.
That's awesome, guys.
All right. Well, I have outro notes. God, I just can't get it together tonight. Said all you can eat sushi. I'm too bloated to think. Before we go, please like and share if you enjoy this podcast. And if you want to bring, bless you, if you want to bring your own ideas from the movies we watched or just wish to chat about cinema or coffee in general, then leave a comment and engage with us. It doesn't have to be about cinema and coffee, just any kind of engagement is good for us. With that being said, I'm Isaac.
I'm Cole.
I'm O'Brien.
Goldblum.
Well, Goldblum, you. I swear I'm not doing this intentionally. I think I don't know. We'll Goldblum you all later, folks.